in on its own survive closing. Got it. So in the walkthrough report, you're going to want to put in a provision in there that that it survives closing. If there are obligations that are remaining for the seller to continue and to do something after your buyer's close, you want to make sure that that agreement spells out that it survives closing. So, and then the next thing, of course, if you're looking at doing an escrow, if the seller is going to continue on doing some repairs or do something, have some obligation after closing. If there's a lender involved, if your buyer is getting a loan to purchase this property, you're going to want to bring that to your buyer's attention or to your lender's attention immediately. Say, hey, here's the issue. This is what we're proposing to hold in escrow the seller's money. We'd like to have our settlement agent handle the escrow, hold the seller's money, pursuant to an escrow agreement. But just make sure to bring that to their attention, because what we've seen is that lenders nowadays, even on conventional loans, are having issues with escrow agreements. They're not wanting things like that out of their control. I've seen it where they've wanted to push closing, lender wanted to push closing, they wanted to handle the escrow. Even when the purchase price to loan value was pretty far off number, and the repairs at issue were a pretty small amount compared to the sales price. So definitely make sure you're bringing that to the lender's attention. When you put together that walkthrough report and you're spelling out what the seller's obligations are, you want to make sure to include things like, well, what happened? How much time are they going to have to complete those obligations, and what happens if they don't? So you want to include provisions there that, okay, if the seller's got 2 weeks to take care of this problem, and if they don't, then the buyer can hire a contractor of their choosing to have that work done, and then they can present the invoices to the escrow agent, settlement attorney, to have those items paid for using the seller's money. What happens if the repairs exceed the amount of escrow? So you want to think through those things, and I say this all the time, but obviously this is a good time to get us or whoever's handling your closing involved. You're always welcome to shoot it over to us. Say, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is what we're looking at doing, what we'd like to do. Can you help us tool or take a look at this provision that I put together and come up with some suggestions for it, and we can say, oh yeah, that looks great, or here's some things to think about and add to it. You can obviously leverage the relationship with us to take a look at that. So those are things to think about if you're thinking about escrowing funds and wanting to make sure that your buyer is in the best position possible. Another issue that something we've talked about recently related to the walkthrough is if your buyer is not going to be present for it, and this is just on doing the walkthrough inspection generally. I don't think we're seeing it as much now where buyers are out of the area, having to buy a home. They're getting orders to be transferred to this area, and the market's just so crazy that they can't even, get here, or they don't have time to make that happen. So I don't know that that's something we're seeing as often. I don't know if we're seeing as many of this buyer unseen. They haven't even looked at the property when they're putting in offers, but for a while we were seeing that. And if it turns out that the buyer is not going to be available for the walkthrough, the best option is to have their home inspector conduct that final walkthrough for them. They're obviously going to be able to know, they've made recommendations for things that the seller needs to address. And if the sellers have addressed some of those items, having the inspector to go back through and look at those repairs is going to be the best case. Obviously, that comes with additional costs. And so you may have a buyer that's unwilling to either incur those costs or, maybe the home inspector is not willing to do it. I mean, obviously there's some liability there, for them. So that, that may be, something they're not willing to do. But you want to look in that as soon as you can. Obviously, if it turns out your buyer is saying, hey, we're not going to be here, there's a possibility we may not be here, I'd prep them for that, possibility, and check with the home inspector at that point to see if, hey, is this a service that you guys do, figure out what the costs are, whatever. But And then if they're unable, or if the buyer isn't willing to front that cost, the next bet will be to have somebody else, maybe a family member or a friend of the buyer, be there for that walkthrough inspection, and conduct it with you. Obviously, what I'm getting to is you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're doing it for the buyer, if you can avoid it, just because there's some inherent risks with that process. If you're handling the walkthrough for the buyer, the possibility exists for them to, once they come in and take possession, to realize that, hey, here's some issues here that I would have discovered. Anybody would have discovered if they had done the walkthrough. Why didn't you discover it? And so I'm thinking it's best to put yourself or be able to avoid that as best as possible. But if it turns out you end up having to do it, some steps you would take to sort of protect yourself, protect your license, having them sign a hold harmless. Similar to that, they haven't seen the house addendum that you attach to the contract, something saying, hey, okay, you guys are going to conduct it, but we're doing this at your benefit, and you agree to hold us harmless, in the event there's some issues discovered. Having a brokerage policy in place for that may make it less awkward. If you're having to ask, it can be a bit awkward having to ask a client to release or waive you from any liability. So it may make it easier to say, well, this is just a brokerage policy. Okay, if we do it, here's the form you have to sign. It's kind of out of my hands. And then lastly, I would say just as much as possible, have them direct it. So you say, okay, well, I'll do it, but we got to get on a Zoom or Teams call, and or FaceTime, and you're just going to take me through. I'm going to be your hands and feet here, but I'm going to hold the camera. You're going to tell me what to turn on, what to test, what to look at, where to check, and have them direct the process as much as possible, so that you're, again, just doing what it is that they want to have done, what they want to look at, what they want to test. And that's going to obviously put you in the best position to be able to say, well, hey, I was just doing what you told me to, and we conducted along those guidelines there. So just some general thoughts on the walkthrough. I saw a bunch of alerts come up on the chat. I don't know if there's anything there I need to address, or any questions on that.
It was just, so Susan was asking if we had a policy for our agents doing walkthroughs for the buyers, and the policy is that we don't allow it. If they have extenuating circumstances and it's a must, they have to get permission from either me or Lucy, and it's because we've had issues in the past where there's been legal issues with the agents doing the walkthrough, because you're just not supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
It's just not good. It's not good in any shape or form. So if there's extenuating circumstances, then they need to get permission from me or Lucy. And Lucy just said, just don't do it. Like be the opposite of Nike. Just risky. Don't do it.
Right.
It is.
Thomasina, do you run into resistance from sellers or listing agents with bringing the home inspector back, or you just forge ahead and don't ask permission, just do it?
Yeah, we just forge ahead. I mean, that's what we teach our agents. We just forge ahead. We don't ask permission. We just do it. If we come to a head, the agents are very well equipped to know the guidelines in the contract, especially the ones that come into stump the broker. We've went over it, especially at walkthrough, where it states that you can bring an inspector back. It actually states that on the walkthrough. There are certain things you cannot use the inspector for, or there are certain things you can use the inspector for and certain things you cannot use for. And it actually states underneath that paragraph. So we've taught them to use that verbiage, highlight it, send it over, let them know what's going on. But we don't ask beforehand just because it makes the water muddy. We just bring them. Just bring them and just do it.
I like it.
Sounds good.
We're aggressive.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, Susan, well, do you want to take the next topic?
Any other questions? I went through it all. I think that's the only thing I see in the chat, Austin. So I'll give it back.
Cool.
Do you have time for me, Thomasina, to do the other thing I'd mentioned to you with the addendum, or do you have a tight schedule?
Absolutely, we do.
Okay.
Absolutely, we do.
Do you have that addendum where you could possibly show it
I do not. Do you have it on your screen, or Austin, do you have it on your screen? Lucy, maybe? If anybody does, I can give them permission to share their screen so that you guys can see.
I don't
Let me
have it.
see
I can
if,
probably get
hold
it.
on. I think Lucy sent the red line item, and I think she copied me on it.
Actually, this is
Um,
the firm equity purchase addendum, and I just emailed it back to you earlier this morning. So
You did? Okay, if you emailed
yeah.
it to me, I'm gonna pull it up for everyone to see. Here we go. Okay,
Thanks
yeah,
so
because I
much.
can put it
Yeah.
right over on the other screen. And maybe I can, maybe I can. I might, maybe I can.
You're quicker than I am, which is why I know. Yeah.
That's okay. I may have to stop sharing my screen and reshare it again, guys. So give me
Okay.
one moment.
I'll go ahead and sort of start here while you're
Mhm.
doing that. So Lucy
Yep.
found this, Lucy came across this addendum a few months ago called a firm equity assumption addendum. Has anybody ever used that? I did not know it existed until Lucy sent it out back in July. And I think I don't know if one of the agents discovered it, but it is something that's intended to be used in assumptions, but it does not have to be used. And I think a number of people have successfully closed assumptions without it. But I wanted to go over it just so you'd be familiar with it, and then you can decide if you want to use it if you're going to be buying or selling with an assumption, a loan assumption. So does anybody have a guess as to why it's called a firm equity assumption? I guess it's hard to have people participate when we're on Zoom. What the words firm equity mean is that the amount of money that the buyer is going to bring to closing is going to be the same regardless of what the loan balance is. So for example, you apply for, you enter into a contract today, and the loan balance today is a certain amount of money. So the parties decide on a purchase price, but in 2 months after the buyer has been approved, hopefully for the loan assumption, that loan balance is going to be lower. So if you have a firm purchase price, then the buyer is going to have to pay that difference in cash, which is going to be a lot more than it was when they entered into the agreement in the first place, because the sellers made 2 more mortgage payments, or 3, or however long it takes. So if you want the buyer only to have to pay the amount that they expected to pay up front, you want it to be a firm equity assumption. So the equity amount that they're buying is the same regardless of what the loan balance is at the end. The result of that is that the purchase price is going to be approximate. So if you see there in paragraph 1, it says the approximate purchase price of blank is to be paid as follows. And then you itemize the purchase price. But the part of the purchase price that's approximate is the third blank down where it says it's the balance of the existing indebtedness. So that way the buyer knows exactly how much down payment they're going to owe at settlement. Again, you don't have to use this addendum. You can write it in on the first page of the purchase agreement in the breakdown of the price there, that the amount of down payment is going to be fixed and that the price is going to vary depending on the loan balance. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know. Then if you go further into this thing, it's talking about needing, it's got all of the breakdown there in the second part of paragraph 1 where you've got the A, B, C, D, E, F. In order to complete that, you're going to need not only a current statement from the mortgage company, which would say what the balance currently is and the current interest rate, but you're also, and the payments, to know the number of years remaining. I don't know if that shows on the statement, so you may need to ask them to provide the promissory note so that you can look at it and see when the ultimate due date is going to be. I find this form to be a little too complicated, but I thought I'd go over it anyway, just in case anybody either receives it or wants to use it. But to fill that part out, A through F there is going to require both the monthly statement and the copy of the promissory note for the underlying loan. Okay, number 2 there says this is or is not a mandatory qualifying assumption. There really are no non-qualifying assumptions unless you've got some sort of private loan. VA, you have to qualify. FHA, you have to qualify. Conventional, they probably won't even let you do it. So to me, that's kind of a no-brainer. It will have to be a qualifying assumption. So you would pretty much always check is in that block. Number 3, the buyer will or will not apply for assumption qualification. Well, they have to, or else they won't get the loan. So that's also kind of a no-brainer. And the words to release seller of liability. If you're the listing agent, your client, the seller, is going to want to be released of liability if someone assumes their mortgage. And that's not necessarily guaranteed. I don't, honestly, I've not looked at the VA or FHA regulations to see if it is required in an assumption, if it is law that the seller is released. But I would want to ask to see it in the documentation that's signed at closing or that's provided by the lender, that there is something stating that the seller has no further liability. And if not, that they know that they could be on the hook if this buyer defaults down the road on the mortgage. And that's happened years ago. No one in this group is probably old enough to remember it. But back in the 80s, there were non-qualifying VA assumptions. And that happened to a lot of veterans, that the buyer ended up ultimately defaulting, and then the veteran's eligibility was shot because there had not been a release of liability. So it is something that is real, even though it may not be something that's happening now. Typically, I don't, on the cost of the assumption, it's just, those are just typical loan costs, but they're not a lot compared to what you would get on a regular loan. So there's like a processing fee, and if it's VA, it's a 0.5% VA funding fee, not a 3 or 2% VA funding fee. So the cost, the loan costs, the assumption costs themselves are pretty modest. And typically they're paid by the buyer unless you, of course, have negotiated for concessions. In paragraph 4, it's just talking about how the seller has to initiate the process with their lender. The buyer can't, because the seller has to get it going, I guess, because it's their mortgage. And so it's indicating how many days the seller would have to do that. Paragraph 5, we've kind of already talked about that the final sales price will be based on what the loan balance is at the time of settlement. A good thing about paragraph 5 in the second sentence is that if it turns out that the balance is not what the seller had represented, the buyer can get out of the contract, which of course they would want to be able to. In paragraphs, something that I think is a little tricky is paragraphs 8 and 9, having to do with the disposition of the escrow account and then the insurances. This interplays with the prorations paragraph of the contract, which is paragraph 10. It's hard to know what's fair and reasonable to do in this situation, whether or not you have the escrow account passing on to the buyer, or whether or not the seller should be given credit at settlement for the balance of the escrow account. If the insurance is getting ready to renew and they're like, there's $4,000 in the escrow account, the seller's not going to want to let that roll over to the buyer. So it's something that the parties should look at, have a monthly statement on that loan that you look at before you finalize this addendum, and figure out in negotiation with the other party whether or not it's going to be fair for the escrow account to be totally the property of the buyer, or whether or not it's going to be better for the seller to be able to get credited back for that, which would basically be the buyer purchasing out the escrow account. On number 9, on insurances, as you all probably know, homeowners insurance can't be transferred. The buyer's going to have to get a new policy, but flood insurance can be assumed because it's a government, if it's a FEMA policy, it can be assumed. And so again, if there's a flood policy on the property, it should be decided up front whether or not the buyer's going to assume it, and if so, whether or not they get the benefit of the premium that's already been paid, or whether or not that's going to be prorated back to them. And then you choose in paragraph 10B whether you check that escrows are going to pass gratis to the buyer, or whether or not they're going to be prorated. So that's tricky, and if you need help on that, ask Thomasina, ask Lucy, ask us. We'd be happy to help you. Nothing really to say in 10 and 11 there. Those are repetitive of what you've seen earlier. In paragraph 13, which is the second page, there are a bunch of blanks to fill in if there are other provisions. The only thing that I can think of that the buyer might want is an appraisal, because the lender on an assumption is not going to do an appraisal. So if your buyer is concerned about the property value on an assumption, they either need to check the appropriate block in the body of the purchase agreement, or you could write it in on this other provisions addendum. So that's all I have to say about it. I find the form a little confusing, a little busy, but it does make you think of a bunch of things that would be important to think about on an assumption and to think about them up front. So Is anybody closing?
That was
assumption?
really good.
Yeah.
That was really good because I didn't even think about an appraisal going in that paragraph.
I
And
mean,
if
it
I didn't
could.
think about it, I'm sure a lot of other people haven't.
Yeah, it
I
could
mean,
go there. You could sort of modify.
Payoff way less than what value is.
Yeah, I mean, you're assuming. Second loan, right? Mm-hmm. Right, because it's so hard to get that second loan. So I would still put, yeah, right. But even a survey, like she said, like I wouldn't think to put that in there either, you know? Yeah, I wouldn't think any of that. But yeah, she was just saying that if you had, like, if the second loan, so if the purchase price is 300,000,
Mhm.
and the assumption is 200,000, that's what you're assuming because that's how much is left on the loan. There's another 100,000 there that you have to come up with. That's either cash, line of credit, another loan. But what she was saying was, if that's the case, then the second loan would require one. But you know, if not, it's really good to put in there.
Yeah.
I think it's really smart. I didn't think about that. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions online or in here? So, yeah, we have one more.
But in your scenario.
Yeah.
You're buying the house for 300, but and assuming the one.
That's how it usually works. Yeah.
You're buying the house because the people are in trouble, and you're just assuming their loan paying 200,000, but it's worth 300.
No. You're assuming the loan, which is 200,000, but the purchase price is 300,000. So there's another 100,000 there you got to come up with.
Unless you're getting these people out of hot water, so they don't get foreclosed on. Assuming.
Right.
Sale price will be the loan amount. Will be right, which is obviously a boon for the buyer.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
Any
and
other
Thomas,
questions in here or online?
just on that assumption, we've actually seen some instances where people aren't aware that they actually need to come up with that extra cash. So when you're working with your clients, you may just want to make sure that everybody's clear that in your 300,000 scenario that you do need to bring an extra 100K to closing, which seems to be simple, but unfortunately, I've seen that.
I didn't know who it was. I didn't see that your face finally popped up. I was like, who
Oh,
is
sorry.
talking?
Yeah. I'm looking at my face, so I assume everyone is too. But
I see it now. I was like, who's talking? I didn't know if it was like a lender that accidentally popped into our.
no, I'm sorry.
Zoom,
Jesse,
now I
I'm
see.
here. Yes, nice to see you all.
I see you now. Thank you for that. Yeah, that is actually extremely true. So that's good info as well. Did anybody have any questions on that? Wait, we have one new message. Hold the bus. Let me get over to it. Oh, that's a great form. So someone just said, thank you. That's a great form. Yes, it definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah. Thank Lucy. She
All right,
found
Susan and
whoever brought it to her. So
Yeah, she sent it to us last night. Do you guys have anything else?
Well, this is Jesse again. I'll just
All
add
right,
one other
Susan and
thing.
Austin, do you guys have anything?
I don't think so. I mean, you'd sent us the range changes yesterday and it was next to nothing on the purchase agreement. Just a typo corrected in paragraph 6A and then clarifying that the condo, the resale packet can't be waived. I mean, I guess it can be waived now, or they struck that line. And I think you all have probably already sent that out to the agent. So I don't think, I didn't have
Went
anything
out by
else.
Rain, sent it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Which is nice. There was only two, what she's talking about, there was only two things for January 1 that is different. There was a typo somewhere, and then the resale packet can be waived now. That was really the only two things that came out for January. I'm like, woo, because every January and June for new agents, just so you know, Rain modifies the contracts, and those were the only two things that pertained to us, which was great. So exciting. I'll take a typo and one little change.
Can I interject here for just a minute? The change about the common interest community package is not that they can waive the package. They cannot waive getting the package. They can waive their right to cancel the contract based on the contents of the package. So they can remove the contingency, but by law, they still have to receive the package.
Gotcha.
Excellent. Thanks,
Gotcha.
Lucy. I didn't say that right, so I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah, because I said it the same way you did, Susan. This is why we have Lucy. This
Keep
is
us
why
all
y'all should
straight.
not call me for contract questions. I'll be like, yeah, I can waive it. And next thing you know, there we are. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Jess and Susan and Austin. Thank you so much.
All right. Good to see you all.
Oh, you know what, Austin? Well, any of you, I was wondering, would Sandra like to come on to these as well and do a little bit about North Carolina on
Yeah.
our monthly meetings, just to kind of they're loving her, by the way. I mean,
Good.
she's like Susan 2.0. She's Susan in North Carolina. They're loving her so much.
Wonderful.
So much.
Yeah, I'm
Susan
sure.
is
We'll
the
make sure
best,
we'll make sure
and
she's
so
up
is
next
Sandra.
month. Yeah. We'll make sure she's here next month. She'll be happy to. Yeah.
Yeah, they would love that. They love her, and she's just, I mean, she's killing it there. And we're going to start promoting her to other offices too, to get more business in there for Tomahawk.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, she's
Exciting.
doing great. Now that she tested the waters with us, we're going to send her out into the masses, All right. Thank you all so much. Round of applause for Jones, Walker, and Lake, always coming in on point. All right, Cragen, you are up next, sir. Take the mic, sir. Yes.
Including obviously real estate agents, with a gentleman by the name of Leland Gross. He does a lot of work with Barra. He's like on the financial advising committee or something along those lines with Barra. He's super intelligent. And like I said, it's going to be great information. It's right towards, right when tax season is about to start. So
Why don't you say yay? If she can't hear.
Vanessa, turn your
Wait, hold
volume
on.
up. Lily, turn your volume up.
Can you? We can hear him. Okay.
We can hear him now.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. Anyway, to recap, networking event tomorrow, 5 to 8 at Chicho's Town Center, and then January 24th. I think it's also a Wednesday. We're doing a gather town of Virginia Beach tax prep class for self-employed borrowers and real estate agents. Obviously, like I said, great class is coming up, and check us out here on the horizon. We've got a bunch of stuff, more stuff coming up, and thank you so much. It's been a great year. Awesome. Thank you, Cragen. Thank you so much. All
All right, Bill, you are up, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So a few couple things that have been kind of active in Adobe Mac. We actually have hired a non-QM manager. And so he actually went with me and we've done 2 presentations. And so a lot of people that were being told no due to DTI or other things, we are actually putting them at home left and right. So it's actually working quite well. So for your non-traditional borrower or people that have a lot of equity, but not a lot of cash, or a lot of cash, but not a lot of risk, there's lots of options. So I learned a lot by looking through it, but I stay in my lane. I still take the app. I deflect it for them. I keep you updated, but we get the things first. Second, we have single wides coming online through AMAC, which is never been done with us. So I'll announce that next month. We've signed a big builder down in Mississippi, and that's one of the things that they required. So AMAC is taking that on. Yeah, in Mississippi. Anybody from Mississippi?
Close.
Here come Jeff? No.
Got someone who's
Other than that,
close.
I hope everybody has a great holiday. Keep grinding. I promise you, they keep saying that, you know, by third quarter, second quarter, depending who you listen to, it's gonna get better, but the work you're doing now will explode later. Keep doing it. Keep calling your spheres. Keep making those phone calls. How many people in this room have called your sphere in the last 30 minutes? Their businesses go. Or it will triple or double very soon. So anyway, that's all I got for now. Jess is up next. We're getting ready to hand off the mic. She's got her Santa sweatshirt on. She wins best dress loan officer today. Everything.
Oh, okay. We're okay. Hi.
Okay, I want to do something different.
Okay.
I didn't even tell Tom the thing yet, but
Well, that's
I
not awkward at all.
hope we get y'all excited too. So I feel like over the last several years, I feel like y'all go through the same trainings or motivational things that we all do. It's like find joy, be grateful because the energy you put out brings stuff back in. Yes, we all know that, but then if you're like you go and do all the things that you're putting out the fake energy, the energy that's want to portray, but remain to inside. And so I've really committed over the last few weeks, like months, to actually working on it. Doing the things that they all say, also say to do, like getting up early, exercising, self-care, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Yes, that is all fantastic. And I have been doing those things, but what I've changed is I've actually been trying to find the joy in the little things, because we all, if I ask you right now, what gives you joy? You're all gonna say, my family. We all have like the things that we say every day, or through that question, it's kind of like a staple. My family, my job, my kids. My kids give me joy, but not every single day. Like, this is the reality of it. It's actually the little things, and the definition of joy is actually what makes you happy, what makes you laugh, what makes you honestly like want to jump or clap. Like it's those little things for most of us, right? Because there's still kids like my teenager who last night I asked him what brought him joy today, and he's like, oh man. And I said, well, did you laugh at all today? He's like, no, it was a real boring day. And so I was like, all right, well, fine. What's the one thing today that you were doing and you were like, yeah, let's go? And he was like, oh. So it doesn't have to be pure like laughter necessarily. So what I've been learning is that yes, it is the little things, not just the big things. So I've been intentionally paying attention to the little things that make me clap, make me want to jump up and down, or make me laugh. And every day is different. And I think we focus on the bigger things, not the smaller things. So I'm hoping that you guys will tell me something small and ridiculous that maybe makes you laugh or brings you joy. Because that's what kind of gives you the energy throughout the day, or makes it like easy. Like if you take that energy and you follow it, which I have been doing, and has gotten me actually more involved in things throughout the day. Like if something happens and it gives me that boost of energy, I jump on it and I follow it. So for me, my ridiculous things. Yesterday I went to the mailbox and there were 5 Christmas cards in the mailbox, and I jumped up and down, literally running into the house. So I picked up my 5 Christmas cards because I love Christmas cards. This morning when I was running away from here, what gave me joy was that I did not hit the squirrel that was running across the road. Like truly.
Oh, winning.
And I closed my eyes and he ran straight, and I opened him and he's gone. He was gone, and I did not hit him.
That's
So,
good.
like little things like that. I asked Camden last night, what brought same thing, what brought him joy. He said that he found an eraser in his bag that he's been looking for because he loves to draw and he thought he was out of erasers and he found an eraser. So it's those little things, right? It's not just always the big joy thing. Yes, our family brings us joy. This time of year brings us joy, but if you'd be willing to share with me, just because I think we're also afraid to say the little stupid things, we're always wanting to say the big things that bring us joy. If you have anything funny and joy that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear it because I think we would also make us all giggle. Anyone want to share anything? Food. Okay, go.
She said food.
Food. Food. She said food.
Yeah. For me, this morning, unacceptable. Okay. Also this. Given just crap, right? For me this morning, I was like turning on Christmas music on my way in, and it was like upbeat Christmas music. You know, so I was like, bebopping down the road, and I looked over and the guy's like, so I thought that was fun. And
spreads it. That's the other part.
I was at a little stoplight. And then down here, there was this guy, and he was standing on the corner, and he's just like, I was like, I think that was when he sang music. And so we started walking, and then I thought he was doing something, and it was like all the way down. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's probably bringing so much joy to people. Like, you know, there's people that are just like, oh my gosh, she's so happy right now. So those are my little things for today.
Anybody else? Perfect, like that gave you a little spark for the day, right? Anybody else? I mean.
Go ahead.
The guy that does the bubbles at Whole Foods.
Oh.
There's a guy that seems like a software.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes.
So yesterday, I've been helping my uncle redo his home. So we ordered furniture together, it got delivered, but now Haynes messed up because he ordered a recliner sofa and they got two left sides. It's supposed to be one left, one right, but it's a big mess. Now that it's in the house, he didn't like the way it's looking. So his choice and everything,
Yeah.
he didn't like it. So we were like, he stuck with it, it wasn't fitting properly. So we used their mistake, but we went there hoping for the worst. We thought, okay, this is going to be a battle. Spoke to the manager real nicely. He said, okay, we refunded him the shipping, refunded him the delivery, the setup, full money. They said only when they pick it up, and it's scheduled for Friday. He was so relieved and just the joy that, okay, you know, I mean, I was like, if you lose $200-300, that's okay. But, you know, older people, and you lose that 300, you know, but the joy part was, without a fight, the guy said, you know what, we messed up and a replacement's not coming till Feb. So we use that for advantage. He's getting it.
Oh, he's such a sweet guy too. Oh, he's so sweet.
Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like customer service.
That was true customer service.
Yeah, like we can teach everything. We can teach customer service, but like true in heart customer service, it just comes from great people. Like those are the type of people we do need in real estate. And it's great. People online, I did type if you wanted to type it, or you can just unmute and talk. We don't mind at all.
Yeah, let me do it. Because I'm telling you, I've only been genuinely being honest with you. Like, I've said I've been doing it. I definitely smile, take it a lot. Oh, I don't have tiny hands, but I have to bring them up.
Oh, those things bring you joy.
Those bring me joy.
That was your Christmas present. It's the weirdest Christmas present I ever bought anybody in my life, but brought her so much joy.
But I'll be honest, I've been faking it. I mean, even since life has gotten better for me, when I've gone through some stuff. But even since life's gotten better for me, there are days I'm faking it. It's real. I'm putting out the joy just to try to motivate myself and other people. And I think we're all guilty of it. But then I've stopped and I'm like, that squirrel made it across the room. Like, hey,
Right.
he's gonna have the best day, and so am I.
My mom used to say, listen, you can always have a joyful face, but a joyful heart can't be fake. Like, you know, but you can always have a joyful face. So put your joyful face on, but your joyful heart has to be from you.
I feel like y'all know, but most part probably, if I'm not having a good day, even if I'm smiling, I think other people will know. And I'm saying all this because since I've been doing it, I genuinely have been feeling it come back to me. I think the fact that my heart is open and I'm not just focused on how am I gonna get the next loan? How am I gonna
There's
get
something
the
that I
next deal?
did.
Yes, definitely. Let's hear it. I can't wait to hear it.
It's Kara.
Hey,
So when I
well, Kara, as soon as you started, we lost you.
the
Oh no, where'd she go?
my
Kara, did you like go away? Oh no.
hold on. Did you guys get it? Okay.
Kara, are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, don't move.
I know. Well, I just pulled up to my house and it connected to the Wi-Fi. Okay.
Okay, now
So-
you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I moved to Moyoc, did the trash every week. Comes Tuesday and I'd always forget. Every week I would forget. And so my Ring cameras would catch the trash guy coming up my driveway and bringing my trash out every week, guys. So I finally made him, I had my girlfriend who does my closing gifts baskets. I put together a bucket for him because he's apparently the only one that does my route. One guy does like this whole entire route over here. And I ran into him one day, like I caught him one morning because I actually put it out myself one morning. And he, I was like, hey, thank you so much for what you do. Like I verbally thanked him, but then I put together this basket like 2 weeks later, put it on top of the trash. And then the next week he left me a card in the trash can and his card said, he said, Kara, that I've done this job for 40 years and this is the nicest thing that anybody has ever done for me. And I'm like, you're the nicest thing that, like it's your sweet gesture, but his card literally made my entire season. Like it was just, he didn't have to do that, but like just knowing that this man, and every time you see him, he's just joyful and he's like, hey, good morning, neighbor. Like you can see right now, I don't know if you guys can see, but I just got home. My trash can's right here and everybody else's is right at the curb. Like, I feel like, like he treats me just a little bit extra nice, but it's just like that sweet gesture from him and then vice versa, but it's just like, he's the nicest man and everybody out here is, but I was just like, I have to give my thanks to this guy. And it was a cool little like bucket, like dude bucket that I made him. And he was just like, just so very thankful for it, and that for me, that's all I care about is that I brought him a smile to his face because that's what the season's about. What Jessica was saying, it's the little things and knowing that it just something little like that, it doesn't have to be a client or a friend, it could be a complete stranger. And that's something that I did this year that I was just like that I'll do that over and over again just to, make sure that the people that service us know that it is truly a blessing to have them.
That's awesome.
I'm sure you have next step too after that.
Oh, for sure.
And I think, so that's what I'm saying, is that like, it's given me the energy. I mean, literally, I got those 5 Christmas cards and I'm not kidding you. After I sat down on the computer and I knocked out a ton of work. I did everything I've been putting off because I'm learning to start going after that energy. The other thing I'm really excited about is because for the bookstores is that I just found out that Arby's used to make Christmas glasses in 1985, and I now want to collect all of them so you can see them.
That's a me and Jordan thing.
Bringing me joy.
Got it.
So
Arby's glasses from 1985.
1985.
Done. We'll be looking. We're on the lookout.
They've got little holly on them and gold.
Got it.
I need to
Definitely
know.
worthy of this meeting. You will get it. I think somebody will actually do
I'm
that.
just putting that. Anyway,
So
thank
funny.
you all for entertaining me and the idea to talk about.
I think it was great. I think that was So I do have a story that I was going to share, which is kind of crazy that Kara is talking about the trash man, because this is the story I was going to share with you guys this morning. So I always try to do at least one story. I was talking to a bunch of people from West Virginia, my very tiny, small little Italian town. And I somehow we got on to how much trash we take out. And the husbands were like, oh my gosh, like it's an Italian thing. Like there's so much trash. Like we have so much trash. You think there was like 5 houses and like 20 people, so much trash. And so we got to talk about when our parents used to have the trash compactors. I don't know if your parents did, ours did, because they were just as bad as us. So then the guy started saying, yeah, we feel really bad for the recycling guy. We feel really bad for the recycling guy. He has so much. And we feel really bad that he has to pick all this stuff up. And I was like, it's his job, like to pick up the recycling stuff. Like, I don't get it what they're talking about. Like, I don't feel bad when I fill up my recycling bin. I just don't, right? And they're like, no, this guy's old. And I was like, but it's his job, right? They're like, no, Thomasina, like, get out of the city. And I was like, okay. And they're like, no, this guy does it. We don't have recycling in the country. This guy comes and does it on his own time. He picks up all of our recycling. Then he takes the cans. Like, it keeps getting further. And I'm like, really, like ridiculous by the time it's done, because I'm like, that's crap. He takes the cans, then he takes the cans and all the metal that he gets from the recycling, and then he has a party every summer for the town with the money. I was like, you want me to be loading the recycling bags into his car or his truck or whatever? And they're like, oh yeah, now you get it. Anyway, the reason I'm telling that story is sometimes we get frustrated. And I wasn't frustrated with them. I was just like, I don't understand why these husbands are complaining about their wife's recycling bags. You know, at least the recycling is what I'm thinking. Sometimes with clients, you just don't know what's going on. You don't know what's behind the scenes, and you don't know the path that's getting ready to be taken. And you also don't know the path that the Lord's getting ready to take you on. And so at that moment, the Lord was showing me how to be humble and how to like look past the surface. And there's times when we're with our clients that we're just like, I can't take this anymore, it's driving me crazy. Or more so, there's times that we're with the agent on the other side and they're just being a beast and we just don't know. And we react with the same level of anxiety, temper, anger, happiness, whatever it is, when we really don't know what's going on. And so kind of look past the job, because there's a person there and that person is doing their best that they can do in that moment, and they're trying to. And sometimes that might be their only paycheck, and the reason that that fell through doesn't really matter to them, except for they can't buy Christmas for their family. So just kind of look past the job, because I didn't in that moment, and see the person and know that there's more of a story there than what you could even imagine. And so let's have a little bit more patience, you know? So that's the story that I have for you guys this time. Greg, you are up next, sir. Greg from Geico.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So last time I was here, I didn't bring good news, so great job.
But you know what we're seeing? But here's the thing. Even though you didn't bring good news of great joy, you did bring truth and honesty, and we started to see it right after that. You were the first to bring it here, and then we started seeing it happen, and people started, oh my gosh, my homeowner's insurance just went up 45%. Oh my gosh, I have to get a new roof. Oh my gosh, they got to put a new roof on. I mean, it came right after you said it. Like literally a week later, it started going crazy.
Things have calmed down. It has not loosened up, but things have certainly calmed down. There's no new restrictions. We're not seeing a lot of restrictions in Virginia, thankfully, but places across the country are insurance is being suspended entirely. So in our area, we are able to continue to write insurance, and we're not having the significant restrictions, as I said. But I
Come
really
this
just
way
want
a
to
little
point
bit.
out again that
Come this way a little bit.
at my
There you go. I
at
had to
our
capture.
office while we're at Geico, we are I said this last time. Every single insurance person in Hampton Roads is pretty much selling the same company. We're all just recycling the same people. It doesn't matter if I don't want to say I'm a broker and I've got 40 choices. There are not 40 choices in Hampton Roads. That's all marketing. There are 5 or 10 maybe, and half of those you don't even want to mess with. And so 30 to 40% of all consumers are choosing Geico, whether we intervene or not. I'm simply saying on those 30 to 40% send them to my office, because the experience will be far more pleasurable than through the 1-800.
Yeah.
And so they get to talk to the same person all the time at my office. We answer the phone Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
and I answer my text messages 24 hours a day, it seems. So really, if I could answer any questions about insurance, I wanted to point out on the flood insurance, because if the attorney wasn't going to point it out, I was absolutely going to tell you all, you can transfer flood policies. And I remember when I bought my house a few years ago, I wanted a copy of the flood insurance as part of our initial
A
offer.
few years ago.
And
Wasn't it like 15 years ago you bought that house?
9.
9, okay.
9 years ago. I only know because we have a 9-year-old.
Ah,
But when I asked for a copy of the flood insurance policy from the current seller, they were like weirded out. But it was part of my offer that I had to see it. And the reason why I think that that's important is that you have a copy of it, is because all flood insurance, as long as it's backed up by the National Flood Insurance Program, is supposed to be the exact same price. It is 100%. We have a base flood elevation, and if the base flood elevation in my neighborhood is 6 foot, it doesn't matter. And then my house is at 9 foot. There's a 3-foot differential between the base flood elevation. It doesn't matter if the base flood elevation in your area is 5,000 feet. If you're 3 feet above the base flood elevation, you pay the same price in Colorado that you do in Virginia Beach. And so, but I needed to see a copy of the policy, and so that's what we asked for as part of the offer. And anyways, it weirded them out, and they thought I was weird that I wanted it. And then they even thought it was even weirder when I wanted to sue them. Because I wanted
because you don't really hear that.
Yeah,
I mean,
take over that flood policy. Because we are actually in flood rating 2.0 now, which means for the first time ever, the federal government is actually using actuarial rating for flood. The reality is
aerial rating for flood. Is that what you said?
Actuarial rating.
Oh, actuarial.
Which
Got it.
means that it's highly, I'm probably likely to get water in my house if I'm in Sandbridge, but I'm not likely to get as much water in my house if I'm on the Elizabeth River. And so now we're going to charge a rate based on the probability that that's going to happen.
Oh, okay. So it would be better for people to assume.
Quite possibly because of grandfathering, and this hurts me because the
Right.
policy is through Agent A.
Right.
Then I'm not going to be able to sell it because they're going to keep it.
Sure.
But there's grandfathering of flood, which means that instead of hitting everyone with a 400% rate increase, there's only a 25% or 30% rate cap every year. So if you can assume that policy, then you're not going to get smashed. I mean, the buyer needs to understand what the price is ultimately going to be, so that they don't go into a home that they otherwise can't afford because it's going to be $10,000 one day. But you would be able to slow down that expense significantly by assuming the other flood policy. But until you get your hands on that flood policy, you don't know what. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm writing it down just in case there's nobody here. I want to actually send that out.
So that's why. And obviously, flood's a big risk. You know,
You can move that way a little bit now that it's got you. Yeah, that way you can.
I live on the Elizabeth River in Norfolk, and so something's getting ready to happen in Norfolk that is kind of being kept a top secret. But if you know where Broad Creek is, and if you know where the Lafayette River meets the James River, and if you know where downtown Norfolk is, and if you know where Pretty Lake is, the city of Norfolk is entered into a $1 billion project that's fully funded that starts in about 90 days. They're going to be building seawalls across all those entrances, which is going to significantly change the flood zone.
Wow.
So they're going to, the Hague, Broad Creek, Pretty Lake, and where the Lafayette River meets the James River. That's a massive, and anyone that's been on the water, the city is going to be building seawalls across all.
You said Broad Creek, Lafayette, Pretty Lake, where Lafayette meets the James River.
Yeah, I can share.
Oh yeah, it's they're
Okay.
great slide. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is
Bring it to
because
Stump the Broker if you don't mind.
there are hundreds of homes along the Norfolk River that have been identified to be raised by 10 to 15 feet because they're going to change the base flood.
Wow.
So I bring it up because flood insurance in Hampton Roads, we have the largest risk of flooding and the lowest amount of flood insurance policies in effect than any area.
Say that again. We have the
highest risk of flooding.
Yep.
And the lowest amount of flood insurance.
Wow. Really? In all of the US?
That's, and Norfolk is at the highest risk of flooding, which is the reason why there's $1 billion. So you've seen the presentation. Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
pretty intense as to what's going on. I don't know what Chesapeake's doing, I don't know what Virginia Beach is doing, but lots of stuff changing. So, any questions?
Wow, that's
about flood
amazing. I
insurance?
didn't know that about us, that Virginia was the highest flood and we had the lowest flood policies. And I'm married to an insurance guy. You're gonna have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, but he
Keeping
did-
me up
he
to
did
date.
boring stuff like
He did
auto
do,
insurance.
correct. That's true.
So,
That's true.
yes, ma'am. If you are if the current owner has a flood policy, which is under grandfathering price increase, and someone buys a new flood policy, the grandfathering is gone.
I do like that.
Assuming their policy.
But if you
Yeah.
assume their policy, you can protect them.
That's really, really good. I'm telling you what, today's meeting, I haven't even got to the big aha that I'm getting ready to tell everybody. Today's meeting has been very powerful. I've written 7 notes myself. So this is awesome.
You just need to get a copy of it. Yes.
Someone's grandfather, but now with the seawall coming up and when it's ready, will they have their rates come down?
So, for example, where I live, and I live on the Elizabeth River in Pleasant Point, they've identified, they haven't told us, the city of Norfolk's not going to tell us.
Go that way because
until-
your mic keeps going out. Yep,
until
there
the
you go.
first quarter. They've identified that we need to raise our homes most.
Mhm.
Now, the state's gonna, the city, state, and federal government's gonna pay for it. That's gonna drastically change my base flood elevation, because water has to go to the lowest point. And when you close up the lowest points,
Keep going.
right? When you close up the lowest points, the base flood elevation is gonna change. And that's the whole thing with elevation certificates. Sometimes you need it, most of the time you don't need it anymore, but everything's changing. So, homeowners have the right, and she's gonna do the presentation. Homeowners have the right to opt out of raising their home, but I don't know what that means. If I opt out of raising my home and then it floods, I don't understand what that means, and I don't know what that does to the resale value of my home if I chose not to raise it, knowing that a minor storm now could cause massive damage. Because the flood wall already exists in front of us. As soon as we have any threat, they pull that gate shut, protect downtown Norfolk, and flood the head. So now what we're gonna do is say, we're gonna flood the head, we're gonna close the door over there too. We're not gonna flood any of Lafayette anymore. So we may see flood insurance around Lafayette prices drastically decrease, because they're gonna pull the door shut.
Wow.
And think of all the homes the Lafayette River touches. Yes,
Not valid.
exactly,
Yes.
But if he's paying for it, why would you opt out of it?
Oh, the raising?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I've read is, each home has $1 billion budget to raise, to be raised. The problem with raising it is if the home is already 6 feet in the air, it may now be 16 feet in the air.
Wow.
The front foundation.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so supposedly they're gonna dispatch engineers, and they meet with every single family that it needs to. And all of that happens in the next 9 days. This full project I'm talking about will be fully completed by 2022. But it's similar to what they do in Amsterdam. Yeah,
Not one thing.
yeah, and it's.
I'm telling you, he's always got the inside scoop. He's listen, as long as I've known him since 1998. I've known Greg. And I seriously learned something every time I sit and talk to this guy since 1998.
Google Norfolk resilience, and you can find. Again, Virginia Beach has got to be making preparations too, because now where the Elizabeth River touches the Virginia Beach side, they got real problems. Right? So anyways, it'll be interesting, but that's just some stuff about flood. Again, my office makes things simple. You get to talk to the same person all the time. You need something changed, you need something fixed, we can fix it, and I don't even care if Geico has initially gotten involved. Let us jump in and we'll take it over.
All right.
Any other questions?
Well, Greg has a giveaway. So first of all, I think it's might as well give a little bit of a fun fact about Greg. So if you used to call into like Golden Corral, if you used to call it Golden Corral, it was Greg's voice that you heard.
Thank you for calling Golden.
Even way long after he was gone.
For 20 years, I think I'm
20 years. Like we were a guy, he's like, you ever called Golden Corral? I was like, no. Haven't. He's like, you should, you'll hear me. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I don't know why I remember that. It's funny. So Greg has three $25 Starbucks gift card giveaway. The way you're gonna win this is, I'm gonna go away so everyone has a choice, or I mean, everyone has a chance. You have to text, wait, Greg, does that one go to you? Well, that's not gonna work, is it?
That one rings to all of my office. You looking for me?
Yep. All right, here we go. Put in your phone, so pull it up, and you're gonna put Greg Holston in there. His name is right below that. And I'm gonna count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm gonna let Greg say his number. You're gonna put it in there. The first 3 people that text him get a $25 Starbucks gift card. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 9, 9, 8, 2, 5.
Say it one more time.
7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 9, 9, 8, 2, 5.
Okay, so it looks like we have, put your name there. So 757 676 6244. Wait, hold on, they're coming. Okay, we got 3. All right, here we go. Okay, Vanessa, you're the first one.
The people are doing it.
Oh, was it backwards?
It's gonna have to take a second.
Okay, hold on.
I'll have to tell you in a second.
Yeah.
Because everyone having their names.
Okay, he's gonna tell us about it.
As soon as it stops. What she's done to me.
I love it. All right, while he's figuring that out, we'll tell you here in a minute. We're gonna go ahead and go to our next one. And so we have home warranties. Hold up. I'm coming over to you, Tina. All right, Tina, go ahead.
Did I get it? Did I unmute?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm not there. I'm not feeling good, so I thought I'd keep my germs at home. The only thing that I know, Madison had come in and did a something with the expert while I was gone last week, I think it was. And she went over some information about our portal. So I think it was recorded and can be sent out. Is that right, Thomasina? I think. But if you did not
Yes, it's
get
on our
it,
YouTube channel.
what was that?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on our YouTube
Awesome.
channel.
Awesome. So if you have questions, please reach out to us. The only other thing that I'm going to bring up, and this is something that's happened that I'm starting to hear again about, and you guys are going to know better than I am, is we're getting the calls about clients waiving home inspections again. If you have a client that's waiving a home inspection, please, please, please reach out to us prior to recommending a warranty so we can set the right expectations. The last thing that we want is them getting a home warranty with the expectation that when they move into this house, anything that's wrong with it that could have been caught with the home inspection is going to be covered, because it just makes for a messy claim and an upset client. And that's the last thing we want. We want to make sure we can talk to them, let them understand, how this works. So if you're in that situation, it doesn't matter if it's Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't matter if it's in the evening when you're writing an offer. Just please, please, please reach out to one of us. We will answer the phone call or text you and let you know when we can talk, so we can just get it cleared, or, get the right expectation set up front. That's all I had.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. Thank you. Okay. So now it's time for the big tip. Let me come up here so that I can. So we have been desperately searching for a new, I don't want to say CRM, because can you go over here for a second, just because I don't want to talk at the feet. If you just make me up there spotlight, please. So we've been searching for a replacement for Home Snap. Everybody loves Home Snap, and it went down the drain for us. It just wasn't very good. It stunk after they went to homes.com. We were all upset. It wasn't giving the right information. We needed a CRM anyway. Just go to the top.
Yeah, the arrow keeps disappearing. It's like a dot.
And so here. Hold this for a second. Anyway, so we are going and we have a brand new system. Sorry, I just didn't want the that's okay. 1 second, guys. Sorry. It's hard being a one-man band, All right, it should. It's just still not doing the spotlight. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let me hit continue over here. Maybe that's what the problem is. Will it spotlight you? Yeah. I know, it just hasn't, sorry about that, guys. I want you to be able to see as we're talking so that. Okay, now they're able to see it. All right. So anyway, thank you for that. We found, it's expensive, but we did find a system that we love. So we are actually going with KB Core. It is in the top 3. Yes, I mean, round of applause. It is huge. So KB Core, KB Core, KB Core gives you a ton of things. So there is a lead engine. It's going to actually advertise on your social media platforms. You're going to get your own website again so that you can customize it. We're going to have a number we can call in and do training with them. They're also going to do a big training class. We're going to help you with that as well. It's going to have custom IDX feed into that. It has AI, which is really good. It also has built-in BombBomb. So you don't have to purchase BombBomb. You get 10 videos a month that you get to send out to all your clients with BombBomb. It has drip emails that are already made up. You can customize them for yourself. So back to doing that, which is amazing. It has transaction management integration with Brokerman. So you're going to be able to see between the two. They're going to talk to each other. The app is amazing. I did it yesterday and it has everything that I just talked about in the app as well. There's a marketplace where you're able to create your just sold, coming soon, open house. It also gives you a free open house app. So no more pen and paper. You're able to have that in there. Then it goes straight into your CRM. So you don't have to worry about uploading for that at all. You can also use that for events. So if you're having events and having people sign up, it goes straight into your CRM. It does a lot. Anyway, there is a little video. I'm gonna let you guys watch. You can kind of see a little bit about it, but it's going to be implemented the first week of January, fingers crossed, but coming very soon. So I'm going to let you watch this video. One moment. Okay. Maybe. I think it's a double click for this one. Huh. It's playing the background instead of the 1 second, guys. Sorry. Again, this whole one-man band thing is not always the best. Well, I definitely want you guys to see it. So hold on 1 second. Let me just make an adjustment, and maybe what we can do here is like it's not playing the second. I'm on it now, right? Starting to move at the bottom, so you can put it down. So if you put it down, see how you have the ears on. Being funky, huh? Yeah, it's like oh, maybe it is buffering. Oh. No, it's a whole 2.5 minute video. No, oh. Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. All right, hold on. Give us a second, guys, because you do need to see it. It's really good. Because what I can do is just put it up and then you guys can see it on the 1 second. Have a little bit of technical difficulties today, aren't I? 1 moment, guys. I'm just gonna get the link. Ha 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 ha. Oh. I'm just gonna move this over. Hopefully we can put this down. And then move this one over so you guys can see it. You're so excited about this. All right, here we go. Let's try this now.
Agents. At the heart of any successful real estate deal is you. You're the local expert, the master relationship builder. You're the superhero making home happen. But while the world isn't working for your clients, he's working for you. You're pulled in a million directions. You don't have time to juggle a dozen different tools and glued to your desktop all day. It's time to take back your life with KB4, the #1 ranked real estate platform that works for you 24/7. With KB Core, you'll need to manage and grow your business all in one place. Start your day with a view of what to do and who to talk to, right in the palm of your hand. See your hottest opportunities, prospects who saved their home on your website, viewed a market report, or responded to a campaign, so you'll know exactly where to focus your time. You can respond instantly with a built-in guide for mass texting and video messaging powered by Bombard. With KB Core, you'll have a private platform that fits every aspect of your business. While you're busy taking KB Core provides 5 to 10 times more engagement and sponsored contacts based on their behavior. The prospect starts searching again after the month. They'll get an email from you with simple posts automatically. If they save a property as a favor, they'll get a text from you before it. Did a past client just change jobs? They'll be on your mobile dialer. Your phone call to them automatically. Last thing your clients need is another one. Maybe 40 AI so with the relevant content at just the right time. You guessed it. With KB4, you'll never be wondering where your next deal is going to come. You can generate leads with 20+ built-in content, social media marketing, and more. Have more money than we'll handle the lead gen for you. The KB4 marketplace can deliver a steady stream of cost-effective leads to build your pipeline in an easy way. With KB4, you'll keep those hard-earned prospects searching with you, thanks to a customizable IDX website with a portal-like experience. All of this in one system, backed by experienced network to support your success. KB4 makes it possible. Agents without juggling lives. It's business and streamline your life today.
So as you can see there, so as you can see there, it does a lot automatically. If you wanted to, you could do it on your too, but it will respond to text messages immediately. It will respond to emails immediately. It has an answer rate of, I think, less than a second, so it'll actually get it back through the AI. It'll actually send it. You have different things that you have on there as far as like them changing jobs and things like that, because the AI actually searches with their name on social media to find all these things that they're doing, and it alerts you. So where HomeSnap was searching social media to get the name and phone number, and it's doing that, but it's also giving you more information about them so that you can personalize what you need to do with send back to them, which is pretty stinking amazing. The call, so you can text, you have unlimited texting. Unlimited. So you can text your clients and not have to pay anymore for Twilio, thank you. For Twilio. So you can text as much as you want, not have to pay for Twilio. So that's another savings. Bombom's another savings. And then the landing pages, you can have as many landing pages as you want. So you can have one for houses in the area with pools. You can have riverfront, you can have oceanfront, you can have REO, whatever you want, and it will be sent out. And you can use it for advertising on social media too. There's a lot more to it, but those are the highlights that I know you guys will like the most. And so I want to tell you about that. So that is coming in January, and homes.com can go away because I did talk to them and they're not planning on bringing HomeSnap or any of those features back, unfortunately. So this is going to be free to you. It's replacing what we had before. Yes, it does look awesome, Andrew. I was thoroughly amazed with it. I couldn't even find another one that had everything that it has in it. So I was happy that they were willing to negotiate with me on price. So if you had to pay for this on your own, it's anywhere between $200 to $500 a month, depending on what you get, but we got everything that's included in it. The only thing extra is if you did any extra advertising that you wanted to do or any type of lead gen extra than what they have, then you would pay for that. But there is lead gen already in it, which is pretty cool. So that's the big announcement. We're going to keep moving. If you have any questions about that, you can text or email me directly. Lucy, you are up next, ma'am.
Hey, everybody. Susan let my big announcement up. We have almost no changes for January's contracts. Yay. Just like they said, a typo in the purchase agreement, and they have stricken the line that said that the buyer may not waive the contingency for the documents for this common interest communities. So that's really good news. That unfortunately, that means we're probably going to get hit hard with 15 or 20 changes in July, but we'll deal with that in July. I don't have a whole lot of anything I'm seeing that is problematic. Just remember to get your documents loaded up and submitted. I know that there have been times agents have thought they submitted something and they went back in and looked and it didn't actually truly submit. So just keep an eye on things. The electronics tend to glitch occasionally. Just make sure that you are truly submitting what you think you're submitting. And then I just want to mention that although it gives the illusion of being able to leave out items when you submit, unless you're doing it one at a time, it's an all or nothing proposition. If you submit multiple documents, it's going to submit every document in that section. And that's not a big deal. Just know that when I reject it, that's my only way of returning it to you so that it can be properly submitted when you're ready. So if you accidentally submit something that wasn't meant to be submitted yet, no big deal. Drop me a text, leave a comment, says, oops, I'll just reject it with a smiley face and we'll move on. Keep in mind holidays of attorneys and title companies for closings, and be mindful that mail is going to be slower if you're having anything mailed. If I am leaving town tomorrow, I will not be disconnecting any day except Friday. If you've been in Stump the Broker, you've heard me talk about the PhD graduation. Well, that's actually happening Friday. So I'll be in Florida for that, but I'm only disconnecting Friday for the graduation. If you have a closing today, tomorrow, Thursday, and you're going to be funded by Friday, get your documents submitted so I can clear your files for payment by Thursday night so that Carla can do her magic on Friday morning. Otherwise, I'll be back in town Tuesday afternoon. Unfortunately, I will miss the holiday party, so you all better decorate the snot out of your gingerbread houses. I want to see amazing creations. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions for me?
Nope, nothing in the chat and no hands raised. Just have a wonderful time in Florida. I hope you do get to make it into the parks at least for a second to see Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know. We may make it to a resort, but I don't know that we'll make it to the parks. We'll see.
Well, if you do, hit me up. I'd like to do a little picture just for your face on my phone, because that's a rarity that both of you and I are in a weekend in Florida. So that'd be great.
Yep, I will do that.
All right. Thank you, Lucy, and congratulations to the kiddo.
Thanks.
All right. Admin's agenda. All right. You are up, Carla. Walk that way. You're gonna.
You did great. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Yep, they can move over.
Actually, I really don't have anything for you all.
Yeah, you do. Brokerment. Autofill. Uh-huh. For buyer. Yeah. No, I didn't tell him that's admin's agenda. I left it for you. You're welcome.
Tell her to put the mic closer to her mouth. We can't hear her on Zoom.
She said, shove it in your mouth.
Okay. So what is connected to the MLS? So when you write an offer, you can pull the information directly from the MLS.
We're working on the listing portion, but for the buyer side, pulling it in.
So as you're going along, I'm still learning it too, but if you have any trouble, just reach out to me and we'll figure it out together. Other than that, nothing else is really new.
I can't hear. There you go.
Everybody's turning everything in, giving me the listing. We don't seem to have any problems today.
Office closures.
During the holidays,
24th and 25th.
24th, 25th, and 26th, which is the day after Christmas, the office is closed,
Okay.
right? And then New Year's Day.
We're closed that Monday, the 26th.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, the day after.
Wow. Woo!
Anyway,
Sweet. Okay.
we do have the.
And New Year's. Don't forget about New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's Day.
Yep. The first we're closed. Yep.
And then we are collecting toys again for the noblemen.
Yep.
So that's with all the trees. So I think we try to remember to bring something.
Yep. For the Christmas party, if you want to bring in something for the nobleman toys, the boxes out front. And then also we're collecting blankets and jackets. They can be used for the homeless for Penn Ministry. So if you can bring in any used or new, it doesn't matter. Blankets, jackets, children, adults, doesn't matter. I'll take them over to Penn Ministry. So as you guys are cleaning out your closets on your time off around the holidays, if you want to bring those in, and then any toy, the toys just have to be new for the nobleman.
Yeah. But let's try to fill the box up.
Yes.
Christmas party.
Yep.
Right now I have about 20 people that said they're doing gingerbread houses. So make sure you have all your ideas and things ready to go.
You want to tell them? You can go ahead and tell them that the people that are on here can bring their own.
Yeah, you can bring other embellishments to be more creative for our contest. I will warn you, I've been thinking about this for a while. So I think it'll be a really good time. If they have any questions for me.
Yep. All right. We are up to 20 gingerbread houses. Today's the last day to let us know if you're going to do a gingerbread house. If you are, then just call Carla because we have all of them so far. But if there's more, we just need to know. Those are supplied by Greg at Geico Insurance. So round of applause for him for supplying us a house. The insurance guy, homeowners insurance, supplying us the homes, which is fun. Is the gecko coming to the Christmas party? Maybe. Okay. There might be a sighting of the gecko at the Christmas party. All right. And then one last thing, and we're actually still going. We're doing, can we bring the fam or is it just us? No, always fam's included for this and the fall festival. Families are always included for that. And then the award ceremony, a +1's included, just no kids because there's alcohol and stuff, but for the award ceremony +1, but for the holiday and the fall festival, both always for here forever will always be your families, so kids and your +1. And I'm just making sure there's no other question up there. We can bring what it says. You can bring anything you want to decorate the house. So there's decorations that are included, but for people that are some the broker on this call, you have an insight that says you can bring whatever you would like extra to decorate it because there is contests for that. Greg, did we find the top 3? Speaking of contests, did we get the top 3 people?
Send them back.
You did. Okay, so if you got a message, let me know. 1, 2, we got two in here, and there was 1 online. I guess who? Oh, wait, here we go. We have 1 new message. Hold on. Yay, awesome. All right, so Jess. Oh, wait, you got I gave you the cards. Jess, Munesh, and who is the 3rd one online? Somebody online got it. I don't know. You would have gotten a message back from Greg. And they read it because it said read. Who is it? Oh, Janine. Oh, Janine Casco. Okay, so you also have a $25 gift card here. If you could hand that one to Carla to give, and you two can come up and get yours. All right, last thing, we're just going to go through our trainings and our listings and closings. Here we go. Birthdays and anniversaries. All right. They said they couldn't hear very well, so I'm trying to. Round of applause for all those closings and under contract and listings. Congratulations on those guys. You did a great job for November. And here's our top agents listing, Stacy, and I didn't get to see that one. Janine, awesome. Munesh Nikita Holmes. And I saw Jimmy Ray. Oh, Brian O'Donnell, Millionaire Club. And Brian was also in with the closing agent. And here is our anniversaries. Happy anniversary, everybody. 17 years. Look at that, Stacy and Carla. And of course, Cindy. Don't forget, if you have a testimonial, just send it in and we'll make sure that it's done and put on Facebook and sponsored. Congratulations, Kara. She always gets great testimonials. And our birthdays, AG, Aruna, Sean, Holly, me, Munesh, and Cindy. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations. Congratulations. It was a great month. It definitely was a great month. November was amazing. So we're going to end in prayer, and we're only 1 minute over. And I think we did pretty good. It was a great meeting, guys. Thank you all for staying in there. Lord, thank you so much for this holiday. And thank you for sending Jesus to walk on this earth. And we love him and you so much. This is your business. We say it every month. We give it back to you. We want to do everything we can to make this business grow and love as much as you have helped us grow and love us. We pray for our family. We pray for Israel and anybody that is being impacted by that. We pray for every war across the nation that is happening right now that is coming around holidays and impacting families. We pray for our families here. We pray for those who are sick. We pray for those who need love and help. And we pray for those that need you. And it's in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right, guys. I'm excited about the new stuff coming up. I'm excited about the holidays. I'm excited about our holiday party and KV Core. And for some reason, we are booming right now. Like it's December and I was waiting for it to like stop for a minute. Like I was prepared, but we're booming. So keep going out there, keep hitting it. There's a lot of agents that need help right now that keep putting on Facebook. I need help here. I need help there. So for those of you that are new or need something to do, please just keep watching our Facebook group. There's a lot of top agents right now that need some help. And I will see you all later. Bye.